I forgot to mention on the first segment that tonight's theme is problems of the rich and famous, and especially when they get stabbed with a sharp implement. Welcome back to the second segment of the Drive-In Asylum double feature. And we've got some talking to do about the eyes of Laura Mars.
I need to get a stage for my bed. Like a little stage. I would trip over that fucking thing all the time. I'd be like, I just trip now and I sleep on a couch, you know?
They had everything in her bedroom except a window.
Oh, I don't need a window, Bill. I'm fine as I am.
When you're Laura Mars and you're up all night doing coke with fashion models, you don't really need a window because that's just going to hurt your eyes.
Yeah, because he even said, he goes, whenever Raul Julia goes, I'd come home at 3 a.m. looking for some comfort. And where were you? In my dark room. She's like, that's the only place I could get some peace.
She said what needed to be said.
That's my... Becca said to me the other day, she said, if you ever acted and you had to do a monologue, that would probably be the monologue I would do. Laura Mars' monologue, screaming at her husband, her ex-husband. Why did you pick her? Of all the people, why her? They'd be like, wow, that's really dramatic reading, Sam.
Yeah, it was a lot like the apartment in Exorcist 2, especially that bedroom.
Yeah, and you know what? Bill and I were talking during this, beyond the Sentinel living right down the street, I'd like to think Dressed to Kill is in the same apartment building too. Especially with, like, oh God, another knife murder in the elevator. Again. In the Poltergeist 3 apartment. They're all in the same plaza.
Yeah, it's they're living in another world, a world where we ordinary people don't belong.
No.
Well, some of
She
you are
had,
saying speak for yourself. So
she
that's
had
fair.
so many mirrors. And also, I don't know if you've ever stabbed a mirror before. I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat has. I don't think a mirror would break the way that it broke when he stabbed it. I don't. I'm not. I didn't go to school for physics or anything, but it just.
You're good at breaking stuff.
I'm good at breaking stuff. I have broke a lot of shit in my day, but yeah, she did have a giant wooden rooster in her living room.
Some people might say she had a big cock in her house.
Oh man.
Okay, what I want to know is, okay, there are many things I want to know. But
Yeah.
one of the things that I'm curious about is how Tommy Lee Jones busted through her window after her front door was locked, but she lives in a high-rise apartment. What the hell did he do?
He can fly?
How did he teleport onto her patio?
Maybe Reagan, as she flew across the outside, was holding him, and she lilted him in.
She lent him her wings.
I want
that
to
she
know
borrowed from Pazuzu.
I want to make the sequel to this movie where she tries to convince a jury that she shot a cop because he told her to.
Yeah, she's gonna have some explaining to do to the cops for sure, and
none of the cops trusted her anyway because they're like, "Oh, he's sleeping with her." Like, no, he is. There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they were already bitter towards him for getting to talk to all those sexy models.
Yeah, and then he's like, also, in case you ever have to shoot somebody, what I've learned from this movie is if you shoot them in the right spot in the stomach, they die instantly.
The instant death is a phenomenon that happens in the movies a lot, but
yeah,
probably in reality, he would have taken a little while to bleed out.
He probably would have laid there screaming, and which isn't the ending that we wanted. We wanted the romantic ending where he asked her to kill him, and she did, and then she called and she said, "He broke in to kill me, but he didn't want to."
Right, Laura.
Yeah.
Person that's been at the center of all these murders.
Yeah, who all these murders look like your photos, and you predicted these murders before they happened, and oh, this police officer. I've watched enough forensic files to tell you that she did it, and there's no way you can prove that he told her to do it. If so, every person that kills somebody should be like, "Oh, he told me he has a twin living inside his head, and that he loves me, and I had to kill him." And the judge would be like, "Well, of course, that's the Laura Mars defense. We have to let you go."
It's very giallo because there's this whole element that she gets these psychic visions, and nobody seems to really care about that. Like somehow that is not the whole movie. What the movie is this murder mystery, and that's very giallo. Sort of like, you know, the phenomenon of the strange image on the retinas of the victims in Four Flies on Gray Velvet.
I like that he was like, yeah, because the brain takes a picture of what the last thing you see before you die.
It doesn't.
Oh, and people are like, "Oh, yeah, Argento does a lot of research." Yeah, we'll go with that. It doesn't.
Where is he researching? InfoWars?
But yeah, he's. But I did learn in this movie that when you get psychic visions, best to not drive because you can't see where you're going. You only see the psychic visions. Also, Bill and I talked about it. No way she had a driver's license. And, as soon as the cops came, they'd be like, well, she can't pull that my friend's a cop card anymore. My boyfriend's a cop. She can't do that anymore because she killed him. But before well, my boyfriend is a cop. And also, here's $5,000. Please let this go.
She drove right into that fucking warehouse and nothing was said about it at any point in the narrative afterwards.
She also
she ruined a whole bunch of people's shit,
I imagine she's the kind of person that whenever she hands over the driver's license, there's like a couple bills on the bottom of it, like
wink, wink.
Yeah, it's like, oh, maybe we don't need to talk about this. Lee said that, am I the only one who probably cries in this movie? I would like to know, is it from the beauty of the movie and just the world that you're in, or just what is it? I'm really interested by this.
Yeah, what makes you cry in Eyes of Laura Mars? Is it the touching love story? I don't know. Anybody's reaction to a film is valid.
Is it when he said my favorite scene in is and he goes when he says you're a piece of cake.
Renee Auberjonois had that coming.
And then he also yells later where he's like, I'm sick of all this fucking name calling. And then just
he was an elitist prick.
He just starts beating on that cop, which you can trust me, you can't do that. But
you shouldn't hit the police. Yeah,
you can. They're all rich. They do it.
Yeah, he gets away with it somehow.
Yeah.
Do you think his character was based on Halston?
Oh yeah, I definitely think so.
Halston would never be somebody's manager, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with David. Why would she drive a Pacer? Like, she has like a crappy car. Like, how do you have that nice of an apartment and that shitty of a car?
I thought the same thing, and she really didn't care about that car anyway, the way she banged it up.
Yeah.
So, she lived in New York.
Yeah. She doesn't need a car. Why does she even need a car?
Well, she didn't need a nice car. Like she had this fabulous Exorcist 2 apartment.
Yeah, maybe she had that car because so she could fit all her photo equipment in the hatchback. I started laughing before I even finished the sentence. The ridiculousness of her loading her own camera equipment. I was in the dock room at 3 a.m. trying to get some fucking peace and quiet.
Yeah, I love how she has this. Not only does she have a fabulous apartment, she has this whole fucking warehouse that is her studio. And what does she go there? She does pictures in her own apartment. So why does she need the studio?
Yeah,
I don't understand that part.
Graham asked, did Renee have the same hairstyle as John Peters? The real question is, did John Peters style anyone's hair in this movie? Because that's how he got started. Lee, that's cool. You know what? I cry at some movies too. I get really emotional at movies, so that's awesome. That means you really care about them. So I get super emotional at the end of All the Colors of the Dark every time, because when she's standing on the roof and she's like, she doesn't realize, she's like, is this my life? I want my life back, because now that she has her psychic visions, that part's awesome. It makes me very emotional. I can relate.
There's some Tommy Lee Jones love going on in the chat.
Yeah, Tommy's hair was wonderful.
He looked like one of those guys that used to sing on Hee Haw, and I'm not going to be able to remember their names, but they were twins and they had hair that was like a curtain.
He has a kind of Tom Wopat thing going on too here. Very.
I think Tommy Lee Jones is a sexy guy. I didn't think he was sexy in this movie, but I liked him in Coal Miner's Daughter. I thought he was sexy in that movie. A couple other movies I saw him in too. He's been in a lot.
He's in a ton of. He's not just The Fugitive. He's been in a lot of stuff.
The Fugitive.
The Fugitive. And he was what do you call it? George Bush Jr., the second Bush's college roommate. Why do I know this fact? Who the fuck knows? These facts are stuck in my head. Anyways, I like this movie though. I like it a lot. It's good. If, like Bill said though, if we saw some of the kills, if the kills are a little more, I think it would be a better movie. But doesn't. I'm not. I still like it. I watch it at least once or twice a year.
Yeah, I'm not saying it needs to be different than it is. It's a movie from 1978.
I will say, what's the other one? Night School. That one does get kills. That movie needs. Yeah.
That movie has, it has a little something, but a really gory murder would have put Night School like right alongside its peers.
Yeah, it's like it's so close. It's frustrating how close it is. Yeah. But
I love the revelation of the killer. I think it's brilliant. Yeah. And, Rachel Ward is fantastic.
Yeah. And also, the killer looks just like the killer from Strip Nude for Your Killer. So bonus points for that. I'm sure they never saw that movie or cared, but that's okay.
David, I love that you're an extra crispy kind of guy. That's me too.
Mm.
And it is hard to find that. Like, maybe like 7 out of 10 times you go to KFC, there's no problem getting extra crispy. But every once in a while, they're like, "Oh, sorry, we're out of that."
Popeyes is notorious.
Yeah, Popeyes is notorious for
Spicy
being
or mild. They
so
never
you
have
spicy or mild, and they never have mild. It's the one we go to.
It should just be called spicy Popeyes.
Speaking of, on our trip to Detroit, speaking of fast food, we stopped at a Burger King on the turnpike. They had no burgers. They only had chicken and fish.
You tweeted them
I
out.
like their chicken sandwich, the new one.
Yeah, I tweeted it
The
out.
chicken.
It said Burger King, you had one fucking job, burgers, and you couldn't do it. It was the only place open. Everything else was closed in there, and we still waited like half an hour. And then when Becca got her Whopper, there was, or no, not Whopper. She couldn't get a Whopper. When she got the chicken sandwich, there was no cheese on it, and just the look on her face when she opened it up was not good. And I was like, "Oh boy, I'm so glad I don't work here." And she said, "I'll be right back," and I was like, "Oh boy." So
There were lots of boobs in this movie.
there are. It's a fashion movie. I like that everybody's at that fashion show, and there's just pictures of nude people, and they're all just so blasé about it, and they're just like, "Yeah, all right." Meanwhile, the foreign buyers are just doing this the whole time.
Yeah, they're like, boob, big deal.
Could we get a giant worm covered
You can
with
see
jello?
that in the newspaper in our country.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was. I like that how upset the press is at Laura Mars. They're like ready to kill her in the beginning. Like, how dare you make these?
Why are they interested in her at all? That's
Why
what I
are
want
they?
to know.
It's not like she's making. Actually, all photography's art, right? Whatever. But it's not like, like when Robert Mapplethorpe or other people put stuff out, or like, Serrano who did Piss Christ, like, and people are like, how dare you do that kind of art? She isn't doing that. Like, she's taking pictures. They're not that bad. But meanwhile,
she's not going to get defunded over it.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, what kind of photography does she do? Because you need to specialize. And she's like, I'm going back to the war zone in 2 weeks. You're a fucking fashion photographer, right? And just put out a book. Why are you now a photojournalist?
Well, she did say that her mission was to show violence. But she felt it appropriate to force people to look at violence when they were really supposed to be looking at clothes, which is not a good tactic, I don't think.
How does it sell clothes?
Right. She's not sticking close to her mission.
Oh, I'm going to take my hair down to show this. This is my impersonation of Brad Dourif when you first see him in the movie. His hair is like up like this, and he's like when he looks out of control, and he hasn't even done anything yet.
They're like, this is really the person that we want you to think is doing all the killing so that we can zing you at the end.
I hired an ex-con who we know nothing about to drive around a very brittle, fragile fashion photographer who sees visions. Okay. Cool. But you know what? I love Laura Mars. I like what she does. If they made a real Laura Mars book, if they made the Eyes of Mars book, why aren't Fright Rags or somebody doing this? I would buy that book in a minute. It would be down on the steps downstairs. I love it.
That is very mommy dearest, Mandy, when she gets out of that limo at the disco, at the gallery. They show her legs, and like all of a sudden, it's like she's this huge star, and she takes pictures of women pulling each other's hair in front of a burning car.
Also, my other theory I told Bill about this movie is that Faye Dunaway hates her ears. Her ears are covered in every scene. She has on that weird like Star Warsian head wrap at one scene, and then when she, after Renee, I'm not going to say his last name, gets killed, she has just like a parka over her head, like a blanket wrapped around her head. She is continually covering her.
Oh, the outfit she's wearing when Renee has to put it on and fake out the cops.
Yeah.
Get away.
Every time, I don't really think you see her ears in this movie. She was like, I don't want anyone to see my ears, please. Becca just yelled, it's the eyes of Laura Mars, not the ears of Laura Mars. Get it right.
So yeah, John Carpenter wrote this movie.
Sure did.
I would love to read the original. I know I've said this. I want to read the spec script because he claimed that his version was so much better than this. Well, I want to know what they changed.
Yeah.
I want to know who the original killer was, because it wasn't Tommy Lee Jones. And I don't know why I know that. I must have seen somebody talking, maybe even John Carpenter in an interview.
The other
But for
thing
some
about
reason, I got the idea in my head they changed the killer.
the other thing about Faye Dunaway in this movie is like from like shoulders up, she looks like a middle-aged, like a 40s and up woman. Shoulders down, she looks very young. It's the outfit. It's not just her. Like it's like I don't get it. Like she has these leggy outfits on, right? And then the top part is like caftans and head wraps. I don't get it. It's the 80s, Becca said. I guess. I just don't. The music.
Well, not yet. It was 1977 when they made this.
Yeah, Becca was -7 when this movie came out.
So, do you think John Carpenter ever wrote a sequel to Eyes of Laura Mars?
Yes, it's called Ghosts of Mars, and her spirit goes to a planet, and it infects these guys and turns them into cannibals.
They changed that one by the time it made it to the screen too.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
This was supposed to be about a fashion photographer, and now we're on. It didn't say he got to the set and he thought, and the production guy was like, "Oh, we thought it was about Mars." And he's like, "Did you even read my script?" And he goes, "No, I didn't. Sorry." And I'm like, "Okay."
the Ghosts of Laura Mars.
Actually, Ghosts of Mars was supposed to be Escape from Mars. It was supposed to be a Snake Plissken movie, and then he just didn't like the budget, and he was like, "Fuck it, we'll just do something else." So,
Yeah, I was remarking on that while I was watching it, Steve, is how it was the old dirty New York that's in Eyes of Laura Mars. And there's that one scene on a side street where there's trash all over the place.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, man. If only, this is the good side of town. The other side of town is where New York Ripper's happening, like the really scary part of town. This is the side of town with the Sentinel and, what do you call it, Dress to Kill. That's on this side of town.
Bobby should have been in the background.
Whenever he goes into Tommy
in
Lee
her
Jones,
understated black raincoat.
when Tommy Lee Jones goes into the elevator to kill Renee, there should have been just a hand that moved him out of the way. He cut back and it's Bobby with the straight face. I got this. And that's how they do it. But
Bobby was a bad girl, and so was Tommy Lee Jones. He was a bad boy, stabbing those people. They did nothing to him. Okay, he was on. I'll be like Reese Witherspoon in Freeway. He acted like he was on some kind of mission, but he really just wanted to get off in a sex.
I love how much you love Freeway because I love that movie too.
Mm-hmm.
What an absolute! It's a little late for our films, but we should probably show it anyway because it's something.
We can watch Freeway. It's on Shudder now.
Yeah, and there's also Freeway 2: Confessions of a Trick Baby, which is one of my favorite titles of a movie ever. I haven't seen it. I should see because I've seen Freeway.
I haven't seen it either.
I've seen Freeway a whole bunch of times, and every time I watch it, like at least like 20 or 30 minutes into it, I'm like, what? Like it always like surprises me by how the turns that it makes. Hence my love of it.
Yeah, I just love Reese Witherspoon's character in it. I think she's very well written, and Reese Witherspoon plays her very well.
Yeah. Lee asked a good question. Is there any other movie where Tommy Lee Jones plays a bad guy other than
Under Siege?
Under Siege? That's Becca yelled right away. He's the bad guy in Under Siege.
He is more of a hero type.
Yeah. He's in another John Carpenter movie too, Bill.
What is it?
The one with the car in it that John Carpenter wrote. No. I know. Chris. Somebody will get it. This is a great fact. What a great fact it would be if I actually followed up on it. Let me get it. I'm getting there.
John Carpenter really was very stabby around this period of his career, wasn't he?
Super stabby. Some would say the stabbiest. See, filmography of Tommy Lee Jones performances.
One of my favorite
Black
shots.
Moon Rising. That's Black Moon Rising's the one I'm thinking that he's in. Thank you. Chris got it before me. I knew he would. Good. Sorry, Bill.
Oh, I forget what I was going to say. I was just stalling for time until you found it.
He's also in Rolling Thunder, which is a really good movie too.
Yeah, Rolling Thunder. I love that one.
Yeah, he's really good in that. I'm looking to see if he's been a bad guy in anything else. Yeah, he was the bad guy in the Batman movie where he was Two-Face. I guess, is he a bad guy in JFK when he's Clay Shaw? That's up to your, conspiratorial thoughts. He's kind of, I mean, I guess he's a good guy, but kind of the antagonist in The Fugitive, right? He's a bad guy in Natural Born Killers. He's the warden in Natural Born Killers. And he's the bad guy in Small Soldiers, which we brought up earlier. He's Chip Hazard. So, yeah.
I think the last thing I ever saw him in was in No Country for Old Men.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a movie like I don't get the love.
Oh, you don't?
I don't.
Becca said she doesn't either, so there you go.
I just don't get it. I mean, like, I'm not saying it was a bad movie and everything, but
people love it though. People.
The Coen brothers are overrated.
You don't like Crime Wave? Ew.
I mean, they're no SF Brown rig or anything like that.
No. Look, you lived with Sam Raimi in LA, guys. All right, I get it. Not everybody knows it. But yeah. I don't know. I don't like any movies. If once people start liking, hyping stuff up. If anyone says to me, "You got to see this movie," I instantly say, "No, I don't," and that's how I do. Except Bill.
I shut it off.
If Bill tells me you got to see this movie, then I say, "Oh, okay," because that's different. But when I get it from a lot of people, yeah, Tommy Lee Jones is in Mechanic Resurrection, which is crazy. How's he in that movie? I don't know. He seems too big to be in that movie. He seems too big to be in Captain America too, and he's in that movie. So, kids like him for Men in Black. Maybe that's how he does. I'm sure he made more on that movie than all the other ones I've brought up put together.
Yeah, for a while there, it was hard to find a movie he wasn't in.
He was doing it. He was in a ton of stuff. You know what my favorite thing about him is? He hated Jim Carrey when they made that Batman movie together, and he told him, he goes, "You're a fool, and I will not abide your foolishness. Get the fuck away from me." That's awesome because I hate Jim Carrey. So good job, good on you, Tommy.
Well, to that I say, duh.
Yeah.
That's Jim Carrey's job, is to be a fool.
Don't like him. Don't like him. Don't like Robin Williams. Don't like him.
I hate Robin Williams too.
The worst. The worst.
He just annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah, just the worst. A constant plea for attention and brain need. I don't like him in. There's very few movies I like him in, and that's my hill. I said if there's a movie I'm gonna die of, and that'll be it. Don't like him.
The Hill of Robin Williams.
The Hill of Robin Williams. Not many people are fighting me on it anymore. People are like, yeah, all right, I guess.
Well, the thing that I hated most about Robin Williams was how, like, McDonald's he became. Yeah. Especially towards the end. Like the Mork and Mindy stuff. I think I watched Mork and Mindy. And I
love that, yeah.
And, but the thing I hated was, like, the Patch Adams era of his career where he was just like... You
don't like Mrs. Doubtfire?
No, I hate that movie. That movie is so offensive on so many levels. I saw it in the theater.
What? Yeah, Harvey Fierstein is in it, but it's a horrible movie.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah. That movie could have Claudia Jennings in it, and I'd hate it.
What a terrible movie.
Oh.
Like, they present these impossible characters.
Yeah.
It's so contrived, to get him into this situation where he has to dress as a woman to be near his children, which is unrepentantly cruel.
Yeah.
Of Sally Field to do this to him in the first place. There's no reason in the world.
Well, I love that she is. Yeah, he'd be arrested for that now. That's the new version of it where it's a horror movie, but with him dressing as an old woman to get near his kids.
No, I won't. We'll never show 1 hour photo on this show because not only do I refuse to show a Robin Williams movie, I refuse to show a Robin Williams movie where it shows him sitting on a toilet taking his shit. Next.
Scott asked,
"You're just trying to bait me, aren't you?" Kill that man.
Scott is, what is your opinion of Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge? Bill?
I can't remember anything about it.
I mean, it just came out from Arrow, just re-released it. I think it's on Shudder now too. Morgan Fairchild's in it, so that's pretty cool. And I like it. It's very much of the '80s where it's like, hey, here's an idea. Let's move something into modern times and do it. But there's 3 cuts on the Arrow DVD, which is pretty wild. There's like a European cut, the American uncut, and the TV cut, which is pretty cool. So I dig it.
I rented it a long time ago. I can't remember anything about it.
If it was 1992 and you could get 5 for 5 at Blockbuster, it would be a good 5 for 5 movie. That's a good review, right?
I think it's a good review. Yeah.
That's my Siskel and Ebert thing of it.
Our second movie tonight is Schizoid.
And this is an amazing movie from 1980, and it's one of the first canon movies. And wow, it has one of our favorite actresses in it. Mariana Hill is Julie. And let's tell you about Julie. Julie writes the Lonely Hearts column for a newspaper, but she starts getting letters in that threatening to murder people. And then people in her group therapy session are getting killed too. I wonder, will these things be connected?
Could it have anything to do with Klaus Kinski?
I mean, Klaus Kinski, Dr. Peter, in this movie. Yeah, Klaus Kinski is creepy when he's not trying to be creepy in this. And I've often referred to him as a legit real-life maniac. 100% true. He is a frightening individual, and he's very frightening in this movie, too. Also, he's a very strange therapist because I've never gone to group therapy, but I don't think it takes place in a hot tub. That just seems a little strange to me.
It does in The Howling, although they cut that scene out.
Yeah. So this movie has some pretty good people, and it's got Christopher Lloyd in it way before, kind of in between Taxi and him being a star.
We're going to see Klaus Kinski at the drive-in in September.
We are. That is correct.
As Renfield. A brilliant turn as Renfield.
I love him. You know who else is in this movie? Donna Wilkes. This will be the second Donna Wilkes movie we've shown.
Yes, all you Angel fans.
Yes.
If you've never seen Schizoid.
Yeah, she plays Klaus Kinski's daughter, and maybe, there's probably no nice way of saying this, she wants to fuck her dad. I mean, it is really, I just said that's what Becca would yell at me. But yeah, 100% true here. Also, Flo Garish from Don't Answer the Phone plays a stripper named Pat in this, which is pretty wild. Yeah, and Craig Wasson is in this, and maybe Craig Wasson didn't like Klaus Kinski at all, huh, Bill?
Yeah, I don't think anybody liked Klaus Kinski in reality. Yeah, Mariana told me she got this movie suddenly. She wasn't expecting it, and one day her agent called her and said, like, I have an offer for this movie, but you have to be willing to do it right away. And she was like, sure. And then she was on the set. And she worked for Golan and Globus. How about that?
This is it's like I think the 4th movie that Golan and Globus put out. The reasons why you said, is this a giallo? I will give you 2 reasons why. I think 3 reasons why. 1, the killer definitely looks like a giallo character. 2, the main character is in the middle of the mystery and doesn't know why. Like, are the letters connected? Why are people in her group getting killed? Why is it happening around her? And 3rd, the police are completely the worst. Like, they ask her basically, they're so bad that she has to do her own investigation, and they say, we'll give you a special phone number just for you. How is that going to help me when there's a man with a knife, or a man or a woman, sorry, who knows, with a knife? Man. And then the police put in that phone line, and all it is people mad about her column. I don't know. This is the other reason I will say that it is a giallo is the least likely person is going to be the killer, and the police will come literally during the credits. Like, the police get here so late, super late. David Paulson, who directed this, also did Savage Weekend, which was picked up by Cannon, and but probably better known for directing many, many episodes of Knots Landing, Dallas, and Dynasty, which I guess this fits into it. I'm sure Klaus Kinski threw at least a few tantrums on the set.
Well, he did the day he got stabbed by Craig Wasson with a pair of scissors.
Yeah.
When they were filming a fight scene, Craig accidentally stabbed him for real in the back with the prop scissors, which I guess they weren't really a prop. I think Donna Wilkes said she stabbed Craig Wasson too.
Oh my God.
So a lot of people got hurt on the set of Schizoid. There was bloodshed for this art you're about to partake in.
My favorite Klaus Kinski story is that during Crawl Space, the director was told, I think I've told on the show before, it was filmed and financed by the Italian mob, and he said, I just can't deal with Kinski. He's like insane. They're like, well, we'll just kill him and get the insurance money. And he was like, no, please don't kill him. And they were like, nah, we're just going to kill him. So he had to call and talk to a couple people, and they talked them, the money guys, out of killing him. And the next day he said Klaus Kinski was such an asshole to everybody on the set. And one of the crew guys was like, you should have just let him fucking kill him. Like, we would not be dealing with it. Yeah, David Schmuller is the one. Please Kill Mr. Kinski is the movie. It's like a short about it. And yeah, he also my Best Fiend is a really good one too. If you want to kind of see a little bit more about him. Also, at one point for about 2 years in the 60s, Kinski was convinced he was Jesus, and would perform on stage and have people come and challenge him to prove whether or not he was Jesus. So, I mean,
he has as much proof as the real Jesus.
Yeah, I know.
Does.
So it's like, it's there's a movie of it that's out, and I really need to see it. But the minutes of my Best Fiend where they show it, and it's just him screaming in German on stage, not dressed like as you would imagine Jesus at all. Yeah.
Klaus Kinski is not my idea of Christ.
Imagine if you get to heaven and it's beautiful, Bill, and then Klaus Kinski comes like, oh, yeah, fuck.
I think that is probably likely.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, Graham's right during Wrath of God. So, one of the guys told Herzog, he's like, we'll just shove him off this cliff. And please don't do that.
Oh, that's an excellent point, Vince.
Yeah, so he's kind of restrained Kinski in this, which is saying something. He isn't like full maniac Kinski, but
yeah, he gets to do some stuff though.
Yeah, he gets to do some stuff.
He gets to become overwrought several times in the film. You might think that having Klaus Kinski in your movie with a mysterious murderer is a red herring. Time will tell. Let us know in the chat, by the way, if this is going to be the first time you watched Schizoid.
Yeah.
From 1980, a Canon film, a Golan Globus production.
Oh. Anytime I see the Canon logo appear, the C's coming together, it's like the best feeling. I just love it. I'm in the middle of Canon month 2 right now on the site, and watching lots of really. I'm literally at the end of Canon before they change over, when they had split, when Golden Globus had split. My favorite thing about the split is they both made a Lombardo movie, and it was a war to see who could get it to the theater first. And they both got their Lombardo movies to the screen on the same day. So if you wanted to see a Lombardo movie, at one point in the early 90s, you could see two in the same day. I don't think anybody wanted to see one, but yet they did it, which is pretty amazing. Also, Sid Haig is in The Forbidden Dance, and he plays a black magic using medicine man from the rainforest. And a lot of that movie is about saving the rainforest, and somehow Kid Creole and the coconuts get involved. I'm just telling you, it's great. Like, of the two movies, that's the one you want to go for. Gary Graber directed it too. So.
We were lucky we got some nice items from Austin Trunick of the Canon Film Guide. He sent us some images to share with all you guys about Schizoid. This is an ad campaign that was devised. Oh, wait, did I get rid of it? Okay, there we go. I brought the wrong thing up. Sorry. There we go. This is from their catalog, from the Canon catalog. around the time that Schizoid was released. Here's an image of it being sold with Dracula's Last Rites, which I fucking love. It's another movie. It was simply called Last Rites originally, and then when that didn't sell it well enough, they came up with the title Dracula's Last Rites because it's a 1980 vampire movie. And Savage Weekend, which is, I think that's a reissued movie from the 70s, isn't it? Savage Weekend? Sam? Oh, Sam's not there.
I'll be right back.
Okay. The original title of Schizoid was Murder by Mail. And here it is. This is another. This is before the film was released, in the run-up towards its issue in September of 1980. It was originally called Murder by Mail, and there was an actual case. Now, this wasn't based on anything, but there was a real-life case of a Chicago Tribune columnist receiving letters throughout '79 from an anonymous person threatening to commit a series of murders. And ultimately, they didn't kill anyone, but he wasn't caught by the police until January of 1980. And then Golan Globus sent out a press release for the movie a couple of months later, claiming that their film was inspired by a true story.
Yeah.
And that was much to the horror of everybody that was actually involved in that true story.
In this movie, in canon style, this movie had almost, like you said, how Mariana got on really quick, had almost no time to get made. Do you know what I mean? Also, do you see that the bottom of this is a terrifying, masterful combination of Psycho and Halloween?
Yeah.
I'll leave it to you when you watch this movie to see if you feel that way.
I don't think you're going to find any comparisons to either Psycho or Halloween.
And this is the same director as Savage Weekend, Bill. I think you were saying that when I ran out in the other room real quick. Same director. Canon had a history of picking up movies either from other studios or, they would buy them. And especially if you look at the movies that they put out on video, I mean, it's thousands of movies. It's pretty wild. And these press books are, Austin showed me the 86 press book. There's 700 movies in it. Of those movies, 90 of them came out. It's what Canon was really big on, making these, these kind of fake ads for movies and seeing who would buy them. They'd sell them and then they'd make the movie.
This is what the actual ad campaign for Schizoid looked like. This is Detroit in early September.
This is a very giallo ad campaign here.
Yeah. I don't know how you could not go see a movie with an ad that looked like that.
It looks like the, what do you call them? What's the one that says, "Mommy, can I go out and kill tonight" on the ad?
The Psychopath.
Yeah. It's very similar to the Psychopath.
Look at the movies this is from Pittsburgh, from the Showcase Cinemas. Look at all the contemporary films that were with it, including Dressed to Kill, another American giallo.
Yeah.
Is it? Is it an American giallo?
Dressed to Kill 100% is, yes.
Okay. And look, they called The Empire Strikes Back Star Wars 2.
I like that Smokey and the Bandit's playing 2 screens, but Empire's only playing 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
The sign of the times.
Yeah, people loved it.
Xanadu. Oh, my God. I saw Xanadu in a theater.
Oh. I can't even imagine what it would have been like.
It was neon disco insanity on roller skates. I'm alive.
I would have loved it. I would have worn my skates to the movies.
Here's some drive-in screenings for Schizoid in Pittsburgh, including a co-feature with Phantasm at the ABC Drive-In.
Oh. I used to drive past the ABC all the time as a kid. So
in Baden, PA?
Baden, PA. Yeah, it's right on the way to Northern Lights where there was a hills. Malibu Beach and Malibu High is a fucking awesome double feature, but Malibu Beach is – Malibu High is one of those ones where like, oh, we're getting to see like a fun movie. No, you're not. You're not getting it. Also, Godsend's also a canon movie, so that makes sense that those play together.
Look at this double with Prom Night.
Love it.
How about that?
There's 2 Psychos on the list.
Oh my God. And there's Smokey and the Bandit 2 again. Can't escape Burt Reynolds in 1980.
I mean, that movie was a monster, right?
Was it?
Yeah, it was a big deal. Like when it was on HBO, I think my grandfather watched it every day.
I was just like your grandfather. I watched it every day too.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you told me to say which movie I liked better, Schizoid or Prom Night, I would have to say Schizoid, and that's probably not a popular.
I would definitely say
Nice.
Schizoid. Prom Night. I don't like Prom Night, but I love Prom Night too.
Yeah.
It's in my top 10 slashers. I love that.
Prom Night 2 I love,
I love
but
that.
not the original.
No.
Here it is with Last Rites at the Spring Mill Drive-In Theater. I forget which city this is from. This is not Pittsburgh, however. Mansfield,
Ohio, maybe?
Ohio.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It
Wow,
did play with Last Rites at the drive-in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Have you seen Last Rites? Do you love it?
No, I haven't seen it. I need to see it.
Oh, my God. Yeah. It's a 10-cent vampire movie made in 1980. You're going to love it. There's a crazy old lady vampire in it too that's really creepy. Oh, there it is again at the Tiffin Drive-In. I couldn't find a graphic for that one. I kind of like this square
Yeah, I do too.
cropping more than the vertical.
You know what's really nice about this, even because newsprint was hard to print in then, that's a really detailed ad, especially with the scissors and the shining on the scissors.
Yeah,
because we used to have to pull. It was really hard, especially because ink would blob so much on newsprint. That's pretty amazing how good that ad looks.
I agree. I love the design of it. We're back to the beginning. This was in Detroit.
Yeah. Wow.
So la-di-da, the ad campaign for Schizoid.
And thanks again to Austin for sending that stuff. Don't forget. I should say don't remember. You can get the Canon Film Guide 2, which is out now, and it is a brick of a book. It's like a Stephen King-sized book. But if you care at all about Canon films, obviously everything for this movie is in the first Canon Film Guide. And you get them from Bear Manor Media or Amazon. And they're also available now on Kindle. The Kindle one just came out this week. So, but I would recommend the print one because it's a really nice resource as you're watching movies to learn more.
There's something thrilling about holding a book that big in your hands, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's very heavy. When it came in the mail, I was like, "Holy shit!" It's something else. We're gonna do the drink. The drink is called the Schizoid Sisters. Take your mother out tonight.
All right.
Yeah, show her what it's all about.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. So we're gonna do an ounce of lime juice. There you go. And then we're gonna do 2 ounces of Jägermeister. This is gonna be a really weird tasting drink. So just like this, I think it fits the movie really well. And then once you got that, give that a little stir. And then you're going to top it with some 7-Up. Steve, thanks for putting the recipe in the chat. I appreciate it. All right. And we're going to stir that up. I've never tried a drink like this before, so this is going to be a new one for all of us.
Tracy's joining us in the second segment. She was at a concert. What concert were you at, Tracy?
In concert, Tracy. There you go.
I didn't make that drink. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm going to take a sip of it. Wow. Did not expect that. The 7-Up and Jaeger really matches nice. It kind of calms it down a little bit.
Well, now I wish I had made it, but I didn't have any of those ingredients, so I just used, I made a vanilla vodka and Coke.
Oh, that's nice.
Cheers and Pazuzu.
Yes, Pazuzu to y'all. Don't forget, if you go to the drive-in, you can have some drinks because I usually bring a couple. So come have a drink with us. And
That's true.
and
Sam is your hookup for a nice stiff drink, and they are strong.
yeah.
So be prepared.
If anybody's making it, it looks like Steve made it. Let me know what you think about the drink. I will definitely try this again. It is like way light. I am like shocked because I drink a lot of Jaeger and yeah. So I Pazuzu to y'all. I'm gonna put these away back in the fridge. You gotta keep your
So one of the reasons that I love Schizoid is it's not any one thing. Some people might hate it for that reason because I think it's one of those movies that didn't catch on because it's too all over the place.
I like
But
that.
I kind of like that about this movie. It never settles in one particular genre. Like we said, there are some giallo elements, but then it goes full tilt slasher a couple of times. There's a couple chase scenes that are very slasher. And there's one in particular, the very first one in the movie is really well done, I think.
Yeah.
It's nightmarish and it takes place in broad daylight.
Yeah, and then a couple that's having sex later stumbles over the body, which is
That's totally 80s slasher too.
Yeah.
Although,
Yeah,
even
that
though
is the
this was
slasher
1980.
part. Yeah, nothing kills the mood like stepping on a body. Congratulations, Roger. That sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, you're likely not to get your groove back after discovering a corpse in the place where you're screwing.
I mean,
And who could blame you?
yeah. I mean, it is a mood killer. So there's probably some guys who'd be like, "Come on."
So what? We never did it like this before.
It was just a dead body. I mean, come on.
This killer in Schizoid is creative too.
Yeah.
He's not quite Jason creative, but close. There's some pretty but yet I don't know, it doesn't really have a reputation for being, maybe I'm like overhyping it because it's not like particularly explicit gore.
Yeah.
It's more like well filmed. I think the stalk and slash scenes in this movie are very well filmed, and they have.
I think the problem too is it came out dead set in the midst of what do you call it? Of all the slashers. You know what I mean? Like there was so many slashers that was out at the same time as this that I think if it had come out,
Peace, David.
maybe in like '83, I don't know. If it had come out at a different time, maybe people would have considered it differently. I don't know. But
It didn't really fit in. I know that Golan and Globus probably made it to seem like a slasher film that was trendy at the time. And there are a couple of
about that too, because one of the things I asked him was, Golden and Globus didn't make a ton of slashers when there was the big boom of slashers, and he said, well, they made X-Ray, Hospital Massacre, aka Hospital Massacre, and this, but that was already done, I think, and he said that they kind of saw that there were so many companies making things, but they could own action movies, and they could own.
Yeah.
There are other genres that they could own and totally own. And if everybody was making one thing, they often went the other way and stuck to that. They were really good at once they got into their niche of ninjas, Bronson and Chuck Norris, and then a little bit of like break-in kind of movies. That was kind of the right way, for them to go, I think, for the longest time.
One thing I wondered was if Schizoid was made in response to Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Because what Mariana told me about it coming along suddenly, and it wasn't something that was out there as a project that she knew about anyway, and then all of a sudden they offered it to her. It makes me think that they shot it in a hurry to cash in after Friday the 13th started raking it in. But I don't know. They were produced so close together. Maybe that's wrong.
Yeah. I'll have to ask Austin about that and see what he thinks. Like, did one lead to the other? I think the other really interesting thing too is the more I think about it, I know like the Jason movies are really great, but like the first two Friday the 13th are really good.
for
Yeah.
coming at things. And especially the first one is a really good murder mystery kind of movie, and I love it.
Oh,
Well,
good
it's fun.
Lord.
Yeah.
Who could have done this? What monster could have
Monster.
done this?
Oh, an old friend of the Christies.
An old friend of the Christies. That breaks me up every time she says that.
There'll be days where I just keep saying it to myself while I'm working. I'll be down in my basement and I go, oh, an old friend of the Christies.
God, this place. I say that at work all the time. God, this place.
This place. They were
Everybody, it's
there was a
legendary
boy.
at work, my Mrs. Voorhees, because I have to use it all the time.
This boy was swimming and they weren't paying attention.
It's just this place.
Oh,
So, but Schizoid isn't special like Friday the 13th or
No.
even Prom Night. I hate to say, I like this movie a lot better than Prom Night, but that at least was a hit,
yeah.
and people were going to see it because of Jamie Lee Curtis, obviously.
I think it did. It did well, but it didn't do. The thing is, though, in the canon model, the way they did movies.
Oh, Sam, you vanished.
I'm back. Hey.
There you are.
In the canon model, the thing that really works is they made these movies so that they had already made $5 million on it. Do you know what I mean? From international sales, cable, and VHS sales is how they set these up. So then, even if a movie didn't do well in the theater, the movies probably only cost $2 to $3 million. So they already made $2 million in profit. So
Yeah.
whatever it made after that was pure profit for them.
Yeah, not everything had to be a smash, and not everything was expected to be.
I think the thing that really hurt them the most is once movies started being a smash, they're like, oh, you know what? We should start signing real big stars outside of our, Chuck Norris and Bronson, and they got Stallone and stuff. And that's when you get movies like Over the Top and Superman 4 and Masters of the Universe that cost double-digit millions, and canon wasn't built for that. They're built for content. You know what I mean? Drive-in content is what they're in. Video store content is what they were built for. And
you are the canon films of horror journalism, Sam.
knocking out 90 movies a week.
Yes. I can't even. I go to look for the drink recipes on your site, and I have to keep scrolling back through all this. I'm like, God, this is only a couple days worth of content.
I get excited.
Truly, yeah. I mean, that really is amazing, the quantity of stuff that you put out there. And, aside from a few typos, it's good stuff. I mean, like, you're not just babbling about this stuff,
Yeah. I've been trying to go
putting
back,
a lot
and
into
I go back and edit them too to get the typos out when I can.
I admire that you can do that. I can't keep up that kind of thing. Like I put most of my hours in a week go into doing this show.
Yeah.
And putting those videos together. Like, they don't have to look the way that they do, but I like it. Like, I like doing that stuff. I like just seeing what I can do.
Well, I like the thing that I really enjoy doing, especially like this month with the canon stuff, is I wanted to see the movies that ended canon when it was just Christopher Pierce and Yoram working the company. And then what's his name? The guy who made the Visitor in Tennessee.
Video Asanitis?
Yeah, he ended up being the president of canon along with Yoram for the last 2 years. So there's a lot of really wild stuff that came out in the last 2 years. And then Menahem went off and did 21st Century, and he released the Black Cat, the really wild Louise Cozy movie. He produced that. He produced the Phantom of the Opera, that the modern one. He did a ton of like really wild horror movies too back through there. And Graham brings up canon was going to do Spider-Man, and it's in Austin's book. Like 6 different directors were tied to Spider-Man. It's really wild. Some of the people.
I remember when all that talk was going around about Spider-Man.
Yeah, Joe Zito was going to direct Spider-Man, and if that had happened, holy shit, that would be my dream. Joe Zito's my favorite slasher.
It took a long time for Spider-Man to come along.
Well, canon spent to get the rights to Spider-Man and Captain America $250,000 for 3 years, rights on each one. That's insane. Well, that should show you that the Marvel movies really weren't worth anything then. You know what I mean? Because no one had done anything. And then Menahem ended up producing the first Captain America movie. Yeah, it's not the first one. The movie serial was the first one, but yeah. But thanks, Bone. Yeah, you do amazing stuff too. This is fun. Like I love I love movies. But I'm excited. I'm excited. Everybody's watching Schizoid and watching a Canon movie together. I'll go down and grab the Canon guide, see if what Austin says about the genesis of this, and I have it for the third segment.
Did you notice I made a new bumper? It was at the beginning of this segment. I made a new "We're Back" bumper.
Oh no, I didn't see it.
It's a bug.
Oh yeah, with the bugs all saying yeah. I do love that you made me Sammy Kerr in the beginning. Please don't ever change that now. It's gonna
that's been you for a while.
Oh, is it? Okay.
There's like 50. There's 16 different versions of the intro.
Oh my god.
And every single one of them were different icons at the beginning. That's one of my favorite things to do is deciding who's going to get what character.
My favorite. I mean,
that is so you.
If that movie would ever, I lived the life of Ragman in that movie, like of hating school, only caring about metal, and like that's why I always think like whenever he like halfway through the movie where he's like, I can't let Sammy Kerr kill these people. Nope, it would be a much different movie with me. But anyway, love that movie. I'm so excited about Schizoid though.
There's one intro too where when Gigi was on and she's Mary Warnoff and like the elevator doors open and it's Mary Warnoff.
Oh man,
that suited her so much because she's very Mary Warnoff.
Yes, very much. That totally makes sense. But anyway, when the Canon logo comes up, get excited when you see the beginning of it. It's pretty cool, and like it's funny. I watch Joe, and I'm watching the '70s, the original Canon pre-Golden Globus stuff, and they brought in a lot of movies. They brought in the Red Queen kills 7 times as Blood Feast, which is yeah.
I find ads for that all the time. That freaked me out when I first started seeing those ads because I didn't know what it was. I was like, oh, it's Blood Feast.
And it played.
But then I posted something and someone came along and schooled. I probably like Chris Poggiali. He was like, no, that's not Herschel Gordon Lewis's movie.
And it played with Blood. What's the other one? It played. The same guy did Blood Sucking Freaks, did another movie.
Joel Reed.
Yeah, and it played double features with that movie too. So
wait a minute, what Joel Reed movie was that?
It's Blood. Wait, I'll look it up. I have it listed on the site. It might not be Joel Reed. Let me look it up.
He did a great movie called Career Bed.
Blood.
Oh, that. Yeah, it's a horror omnibus. It's an anthology film.
Yeah, that and the Red Queen kills. I found the poster for it. That's what's running with it. That'll be on the site on the 18th. And man, the other really bad Canon horror movie that I watched this week was The Mummy Lives from 1993. Have you seen that?
No.
With Tony Curtis. It's basically a remake of The Mummy, but with Tony Curtis as the mummy, and no effort was given by Tony Curtis at all to appear Egyptian or sound Egyptian. He has his New York accent, and they get out of my tomb, he says at one point to these people. It's pretty great in a bad way. Yeah.
That link I just dropped into chat was for the wrong version of Schizoid, by the way. That's the Spanish subtitle or dubbed version.
Oh, that's the one I just had queued up. So,
yeah, sorry. Those of you who don't speak Spanish might have been surprised by that. There it is.
Schizoid. Yeah,
I love that. I sent Linda a clip of that one time because I clipped one of Mariana's scenes where she's dubbed into Spanish. Because one of the things I first learned about Mariana is when you call her at her house, she answers the phone as in a foreign language.
Oh, really?
She answers as a character. I don't know whether she gets a lot of phone calls that are like from people who bother her or what, but she answers the phone and like no matter what she says, you have to say, "Hi, Mariana, it's so and so," and then she'll talk to you in her real voice.
Before we start the movie, the last thing. How is Mariana's hair in this movie, would you say? By comparison, she said some other movies where her hair is out of control.
Oh, her hair is very normal.
Yeah.
In this
film.
Is
this the fourth Mariana Hell movie that we've shown?
Well, Blood Beach,
Yeah.
Messiah, The Baby. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is the
well.
fourth.
She has the title right now, probably. She's like the David Carradine, the John Carradine of our show.
I wish we could show every Mariana Hill movie in the
Oh.
show, even the one she did with Elvis.
Oh.
I was talking to somebody earlier this. I don't think I've ever seen an Elvis movie
Really?
because I'm not into it. I
I
don't
love
like
those
Elvis.
movies.
Really?
Yeah, because I always think about the Eddie Murphy routine where Elvis couldn't really act, so they would just have songs, and it'd be for everything. Like, Elvis, what are you drinking? He's like, lemonade. That cool refreshing drink, and it's true. Everything Elvis says, and I have Kid Galahad I just bought because Charles Bronson's in it, and Bronson teaches Elvis how to be a boxer. That's my kind of
Whatever. Elvis, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll figure it out. But until then, I dropped the link for Schizoid into the chat. So go start the movie at the end of this countdown. We hope you'll come back for the third segment. I know it's going to be late because we've been yapping, but
It's an exciting
we'll see
night.
it. Yeah. We'll have lots more to say, I'm sure.
Yeah.
After Schizoid.